Okay, hello guys, welcome back to another video. If you're new around here, I make videos for anyone playing chess who's looking to improve, and I'm going over my games, maybe try and teach some lessons so you can learn. I'm about 1800 on chess.com rapid, so hopefully you can learn from someone who's closer to your rating, because that's how you learn better, when someone's only a tiny bit better than you, or instead of learning from all the masters and not understanding some of the things they go over. I'm going to be showing you a game that I thought was fairly instructive, and hopefully you learn something. Okay, so d4, d5, c4, c6, um, knight c3, knight f6, and knight f3. Um, Obviously, we have the Slav, and now here I play e3. I do have the option of playing bishop f5, however, and closing up this cone, closing up the pawn chain, but I did not. I just played e3 straight away, locking my bishop in. So in the game, I'm gonna have to try and free up my bishop. So e6, a3, and now this is a move I've never really seen. And then, because the main moves here is either e3 or you either play bishop g5. So a3 was surprising. Now here I played 97. However, this is not the best move. What I should have done, I should have taken, and after e4, I should have just played b5, supporting this pawn. If it's gonna stop lagging, okay, b5. Yeah, I should have just played b5. Um, just take and play b5, and white does have good central control. But I don't think it's anything black has to completely worry about. And if I want to show you something interesting, when instead of playing a3, like I said, black can play bishop g5. White has this is known as the Moscow variation, and black can go 8-6, and he goes here, and then we win this pawn. He plays e4. Now we have to play g5 to stop e5. And then we defend the pawn, and if you look at this position, try and remember this position. Also, black has h4 in this position. He also has a4. He hasn't already played a3, so he doesn't waste a tempi by playing a3, a4. And this position's a lot better for white compared to the other one. So look at this, and then look at this. So he's wasted a move of a3, and my king side is not ruined at all. Okay, so here he did not play that. He played but that was the line. So he played, and then I played 97. He played e3, defending this pawn now, which is very common. And now I played bishop e7. But however, I probably shouldn't have played bishop e7 here. It's definitely playable, but I think I should have played bishop d6. I'm putting this bishop on a more active diagonal. I don't have to worry about e4, e5 because obviously just take. And so yeah, that's what I think I should have done. I should have had this bishop on a more active diagonal instead of e7, but it's still fine. So he takes. What's kind of dubious. Now I take back. The reason he did take is because he wants to play bishop d4, but remember his pawn was still on c4, so I could have taken, and then he would take, and then I would castle, and yeah, he wasted tempi. So yeah, he takes first, but the problem with taking is that now it really opens up this light squared bishop, and also I have control over the e file now. So bishop d3 and castles, and rook e8, and rook e8 preparing to move this bishop and control this e file. Now he played h3. Now here I played bishop f8, but I don't think I should have played bishop f8. I believe I should have played bishop d6 and freeing up the f8 square for my knight. Because the thing is, I want to I need to pretty much move this knight and open up my bishop somehow. I need to get my pieces in the game. And when I play bishop f8, it stops the knight coming here, and I could have gone knight here, put my knight on g6, get my bishop in the game somehow with b6, but and also my pieces are attacking his king. One important thing to notice that my piece is actually facing his king. But I did not do that. I played bishop f8. Now the idea was to go g6 and fianchetto. He played queen c2, controlling this very important e4 square. And now I played queen e7. Idea is I want to put my knight here, and then I want to reinforce it with knight f6 and solve my problem of this knight on d7. So he plays 92, and I think 92 it's okay. It's passive, but it does stop me from moving my knight here and then developing. So I would say I would probably play it myself, but at the same time, I'll hopefully not allow myself to have this position with white. Because I think this position's better for black. Not winning, of course, but more pleasant. Now I played c5, and c5, yet again, I should probably have my bishop on d6 because my pieces aren't really facing his king. What an important thing to notice is look where all his pieces are. All his pieces are on the queen side, and no one's on his king side, but I have no pieces to attack his king side with, so it's probably fine. But if I had pieces on the king side, it would be a lot more dangerous. So that's a very important thing to note. He takes, isolate my pawn voluntarily for activity. Now he plays bishop e2. Now he can't play e4 straight away now because I'm controlling. Okay, so g6. Idea to fianchetto this bishop. He plays b4, and here I played bishop f5 and queen e2. And now this is a crucial moment in the game, and I'd like you to pause the video and try and think what black should do here. And yeah, try and think what black should do here, and maybe try and think a bit outside the box because there's a move that's very natural that you would probably play, but think about a move that just think about the move you think is the best move, or try and guess it at least. Okay, if you have paused the video, you still have time to pause it, but the move is d4. The reason why d4 is good is because there's a big problem with the way I handled this position, as you will see. Now d4 is very important, but you might not understand how important d4 is until you see the position I end up with when I don't play d4. Um, d4, obviously if he just takes, we take here. Definitely better position for black. So say he takes, right? Now, first of all, our pieces are definitely more active than his. So here we now go. Sorry, we don't go there. We can go there, but the idea is knight a4 to deflect this knight and to pick off these pieces. And we have active pieces, and this pawn's also isolated because the pawn we sacrificed. It was isolated. Now we weaken his structure, even though we're down a pawn, so it's nothing decisive. So say he was to take, say he was to go knight here. Say we take, he takes bishop d7 with idea to we want to get this square. So he has to go b5, and here the line goes like bishop g7, and just look at this position. Also he has to go bishop e3 here, and then we go, yeah, we can take here. Idea being, if he takes, we just take this bishop, and yeah, this is pretty much forced. And look at this position; it's definitely better for black. We're winning back our piece and our pawn, and this is going to be weakened. And also, not only it's isolated, the he has to take with the I think he has to take with the bishop because he can't really allow a bishop to get to d4 and pin. Um, and so we'll have the only dark square bishop on the board, and it's very pleasant. Um, so yeah, remember that position. Let me just show you one more time because very important here. The isolated pawn, bishops definitely in full action, and here because I did not play d d4. Also, just a key theme for you to remember with d4 is that we are sacrificing a pawn, but it isolates his pawn and gives our pieces activity. So that's just a key simple thing because the line I showed you is definitely complicated, but it's in its simplest form. We're sacrificing a pawn for activity, and when he takes a pawn, we spoil his structure and open lines for our pieces. But I played 94. It's not the best move. And here now look at this position. This is very hard. This is actually in practice. This is very hard to play for black because black doesn't. It's hard to find good moves for black. I mean, our knights don't really have a lot of good moves because we have to keep control of uh this this line. So it's very hard to move our knight. Also, our bishop's kind of stuck defending this pawn. Our pieces are defending this pawn, and he can also just contest our rooks with this. And I think he's plays a lot easier. Maybe he pushes these pawns because these pieces are actually on the queen side, so we can push these pawns as well. We only have the rook. Um, so yeah, this position's already it probably doesn't look so bad, but if you actually try to play with it, it's very unpleasant. Okay, played rook d1, played bishop e5. I don't really know what I'm doing right now, but it is not great. He has these nice knight squares. Also, I can't really move this knight because now he has this battery, so it's very unpleasant. Move my bishop back. Here I just blundered a full piece. Should have just taken, and he just goes rook c4, and yeah, just wins a piece. But I did not do that. Low time pressure, and here here black actually survives. Try and find the move for black. This is more tactical and a lot easier than the hard positional puzzle. So try and find it. Encourage you. Give you 20 seconds. Just pause the video however you want, however long you want. Okay, so if you did pause the video, the move is b6. B6 is very nice, very nice move. Because the idea is we want to take on e3 because when he takes back, we'll be winning this knight and bishop with more active position, more active pieces than we already have. So b6, he has to go h4, because we can't take this pawn, because then we lose our knight. So we have to go here. Yeah, we have to go rook d8. He has to move his rook back, and now we take. He takes. We take his queen here, and it's still not ideal. Still not a great position for both sides, but it's probably more playable. It's more playable than what we had, and this pawn's hanging, this pawn's weak, our bishop is strong. So I'm not sure who's winning here. Black's winning, yeah. Yeah, this seems more pleasant for black. Okay. Let's quickly get through this. Here, sorry, here I did not play b6. Instead, I just blundered a whole queen, low on time, and he missed it. He took check, check, take this, win this, and I easily won this. Funded a queen trade, and but that's not the point. The point of this game was to show you some ideas that should be learned. Obviously, taking here. Remember how we do weaken our queen side, but it's better than the Moscow variation. 97. The also key idea in this position was playing bishop d6, just having your bishop on a more active diagonal. Um, quickly go through it again. Also with here, instead of going bishop f8, I could have gone bishop d6, knight here. What I did though is still playable for sure. And c5, and obviously this very key move, d4, because remember we saw how unpleasant the position got very unpleasant here. Not a lot of moves for black, and can't really move this knight. This bishop is not really going anywhere. Also, his king's weak, but it's very hard to get there because our pieces are quite tied down. So there was that important sacrifice, and also bad tactic when the rook came to c5. So hopefully you learned something from the game. The main thing I learned from the game is setting up is on how you set up your pieces, and so how you set up your pieces in the opening. Also, just taking on c4 in that opening and holding onto the pawn with b5 in the very start when he played a3. Also, another important thing to notice was is that when he had all these pieces were on the queen side, but we had no pieces on the king side to attack. So if only we had put our bishop on d6, our attacking chances would have been better. Also, with that very key pawn sacrifice, the main idea was sacrificing the pawn in order to spoil his structure and for activity in its simplest form. So yeah, that was the stuff. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned something from the game, and peace.